particularly you have been looking out for some venture capital and funding opportunities. My guests are the men who have been in the industry for more than 2 decades, and they're here to share some of their impact reports with us. They've published a very beautiful impact report on their 20th anniversary, and who knows, you could be a part of their next anniversary impact report. So Michael Abe is Chief Executive of Venture Capital Trust Fund. He's here with Percival Ofuri Ampoma, General Manager of Venture Capital Trust Fund. Gentlemen, it's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you very much.
Good to
Great.
see you.
It's a good time to talk about money, job creation, SME, and all of that. So let's talk about this Venture Capital Trust Fund. Who are you? What do you do?
Great. Thank you very much. And good morning to our cherished listeners. So the Venture Capital Trust Fund is a fund of funds that has two clear mandates as established by law, Act 680. The first is to provide venture capital financing to venture capital finance companies,
Right.
and then they in turn support businesses or small, medium-scale businesses. The second mandate we have, by law, is to see how best we provide resources to develop the ecosystem. That's the venture capital private equity ecosystem. So as you may know, the trust fund was founded in 2004, and we subsequently commenced operations in 2006.
Right.
So we've been in operations for over 2 decades. And the last year marked the 20-year anniversary of the trust fund.
Right.
And so, of course, as would be with any living organism or any organization, there is always the need to, at some intervals or stages in life, catalog what your experiences have been so far, what your challenges, your
In other words,
achievements,
show
and
working.
what the prospects look like for our entrepreneurs and the ecosystem generally.
Right.
And so that led to the impact report as we have here, which was launched, I think, 2-3 weeks ago at the Ghana Venture Capital Association conference at Kempinski.
And I see you have a very beautiful report here. I have a copy in my hands. You've talked about your vibrant, well-structured and resource venture capital industry, where you focus on diversifying the economy and contributing to economic growth and the SDGs. I'll allow you some time to elaborate more on that. And then you talk about outcome 1, 2, and 3. In outcome 1, you've increased SME performance and development impact. Under that, sustainable companies and jobs, transforming agriculture, manufacturing, healthcare, and education. Piper Pretty. That's improving livelihoods in the piggery sector. That sounds exciting. And then you have the Sweden Ghana Medical Center. So let's take it one after the other, right?
Right. Okay.
Let's start with the first one, which is the vibrant, well-structured and resourced venture capital industry. Tell me more about it.
Okay, thank you very much. And let me also send warm greetings to your wonderful listeners. So, over the last 20 years, what venture capital has been doing is to, in addition to investing its own money, that is the money that government invested in the trust fund, mobilize private sector capital to support SMEs in the ecosystem. You know that the demand for SME financing or demand for financing is quite high. Estimates are ranging about $15 billion on an annual basis, requirement for our SMEs to be able to thrive. Government alone cannot do that.
True.
So it means that we must support private sector people who also want to invest. So these are institutional investors. In that frame, over the last 20 years, we've mobilized about 2 billion Ghana cedis. That is directed at SMEs. Now, if you want to place that in context, if a bank requires 400 million Ghana cedis to set up one bank, you can count that as how many banks? 3 to 4 banks that have been set up purposely to provide long-term capital for SMEs. Then these are patient capital that is going into the company to support the company's growth, to allow the entrepreneurs to focus on long-term growth rather than always paying interest and interest and interest, and not focus on any innovation or anything like that. So we've done that. We've supported 14 venture funds, funded about 77 companies. Some of the notable companies we funded were, a first innovation in the country. One of them is the one you mentioned, the Ghana Sweden Medical Center. Was the first cancer center in Ghana. We financed the first female
In fact, I'm told it's the cancer care for West Africa.
Yes, it
It's
is
big,
now
eh?
exposed for West Africa. So
Wow.
it was the first in Ghana, and we've managed to do that as part
Impressive.
of the venture capital program. So for the ecosystem, it is our support that we are running to make sure that it's not just us, but there are other people coming in. So the 14 fund managers continue to raise money
Right.
to support the SMEs in the ecosystem. And recently, we've seen that the pension funds who are also looking for alternative assets to invest in so that our pension monies will grow. For us, when you go on pension, you get a decent amount of money. I've also shown interest in it, and there's a lot of vibrancy in the ecosystem. Then that is inspired by venture capital's catalytic approach to investing in the ecosystem. So those are some of the things. We have a university, AUCC. We have Legacy Girls, if you've heard of it.
This is around
Yes.
somewhere Dodo
Akuse.
there about Akuse.
Yes.
Sorry,
So
Akuse,
that's
yeah.
one of Everpure. You Everpure is one of portfolio companies. In fact, one of the biggest pension funds in Ghana, Axis Pension Funds,
Yes.
is also a portfolio company. Some of these
Interesting.
people have benefited. We have companies focusing on climate-related issues, companies in agribusiness, companies in manufacturing,
Yeah.
education. All these have been financed, and the ecosystem continues to grow.
I was particularly interested in the transformation of agriculture and the SMEs within that space. Tell me more. Who are some of the people who have benefited, and how has your partnership helped transform such enterprises and created more jobs and increased food production and
Sure.
help towards our food security? Tell me more about
Okay.
the agribusiness sector.
So several years ago, we had a company. It's called Vesta Oil Mills. When we invested, it was a startup. Today, it's a very big soya meal processing company. It's one of the, if not the biggest in Ghana. Processes a lot of soya meal, some of them for export, for local consumption. Employs a lot of people. It's just a portfolio company. We sponsored, we helped them to start. The most exciting one I can say is recently we've done another investment called Wami Agro. This is a middleman that actually mobilizes products from farmers and
Okay.
then creates markets for them.
Wami
so they
Agro.
have Wami Agro. So they have several thousands of farmers that they are supporting, in excess of about 13,000 farmers. The plan when we did the investment was to start from 13,000 and go to 15 and 20,000, supporting these farmers with either capital or inputs so that these farmers can produce their products, and then when they are done, they bring it to Wami Agro. Wami Agro then creates the market for them so that the products can go, farmers can get money.
Right.
This is something that we have invested in,
Oh.
that we've done. In the past, we've also invested in agro-processing companies. Some of them we have exited. These companies are processing anything from spices to cocoa.
Right.
And all these companies are in the agro-processing industry, working, creating jobs. The one you said, Piper Pretty,
Yes.
is one of our latest investments.
Piggery sector.
It is revolutionizing piggery sector in Ghana.
Wow.
It has modern equipment. If you go there, you'll be amazed.
Where are they?
In Kumasi, somewhere in Ashanti region.
Bring them to the agri fair we are doing here.
We will bring
It's
them.
very important. We want to taste their pork. You see, this is from 20th to 22nd, I believe, at the children's park. We've spoken about it, so I'll give you the details after they come. They have to bring their pig. I'm very interested in that.
You will like it. So,
I look forward to
so
it.
for the footprint we've left in the agro processing or education or any of the industries you can talk about, considerably huge, but there's a lot to be done. A lot. And
so
I
much
think
more.
my CEO can share some light on the vision
Yes.
that we want to do to align
Yeah.
the VCTF, especially with government policy in
Yeah.
terms of creating jobs,
Yes.
in terms of expanding the economy,
Yeah.
and to do well for the SMEs and
So-
for them to thrive.
CEO, let's talk about that. We've done 2 decades. In another 2 decades, by 2050, we are told the population of Africa will be the youngest in the world. We're going to hit about 2.5 billion. That means that would have a very active youth force, working population, and we need to get them engaged. And I'm sure the risks frighten every reasonable, well-meaning African, but there are opportunities in terms of the market, in terms of the labor force, all of that, especially when they're skilled, ethical, and enterprising. That's a good opportunity, and I'm sure you play a very critical role in transforming that kind of space. So in the next 2 decades, where are we going?
Well, thank you. That's a good question. The long-term dream is to be able to position Ghana
Yeah.
as a premier destination for venture capital, private equity, transactions, ecosystem, and hoping to leverage on, for instance, the AFTA and how businesses that we support
Right.
would trade within the trade region largely. Within the short to medium time frame, we are looking at, as my general manager mentioned, plugging onto Government of Ghana programming initiatives. And so we are envisaging, and I announced this at the Kuhu Business Forum a couple of weeks ago, launching the Ejumera Fund,
Right.
which is to support Government of Ghana's Ejumera program, which
Right.
intends to nurture and grow 10,000 startups yearly. But for the trust fund, we are looking at, because when you look at our approach, we have more or less a public-private partnership model, where as a public agency, we partner with fund managers who then invest into the SMEs largely.
Okay. Okay.
And these fund managers are privately run,
Mm.
and they come with technical expertise.
Right.
And so one of the things, for instance, we look out for in our due diligence in accepting a fund manager onto our radar is the competence, the quality of team they have to do the work. So it's not only about providing finance, but how we also ensure there is technical assistance
Right.
to journey with these businesses so they can be able to grow and make profits.
I love that. You're
So-
not only providing funding,
At
but
all.
you're giving them critical technical assistance that they will need in order to make whatever you're giving them profitable and
Precisely.
multiply what they get. I
And,
love
and
it.
that is why our model is very unique,
Right.
because we, as a public agency, you have the private sector also playing a role, who are the fund managers, to execute the task of supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Ghana.
That's great.
Now, we are also looking at establishing the 24-hour SME fund,
Oh, okay.
which is to support existing businesses that intend to, of course, scale up and increase production, optimize their productivity. And we've had some conversations with the 24-hour Economy Secretariat already.
Right.
And we've moved beyond the conceptualization stage now.
Right.
And I'm hearing hopefully by July, I guess thereabout, we should be launching the program.
That's exciting.
And so we are to, I mean, businesses out there who intend scaling up, increasing productivity, do a 247 production. The trust fund with its the 24-hour SME fund
Yeah.
would be available through our fund managers to support their operations.
That's exciting. In July, we should look forward to this, right? How can we get in touch? What's the contact? We want an access to you, really. You know, we've heard all that you've said. You talk about the Ejumera program, the 24-hour SME fund, and all the amazing stories, impact stories you've captured in this report. How many pages? More than 50, I guess. This is it's about 50-page report. And so some of us
the
are
report
listening.
is available on,
Yes.
on our website.
It's on your
Online
website.
available.
So we've heard all these exciting stories and we are drooling. We want to be a part of this. We have Piggery, we have Maize Farm, we have X, Y, and Z, and we want to be a part of this. How do we get in touch?
Okay. So first of all, it's very, very simple.
Okay.
info@vctf.com.gh.
info@vctf.com.gh. Okay.
If you go there, there are tons of information
Right.
available for you. You will see the fund managers. You would have contact for fund managers. You'll see everything we've done. It will be all there. But
Wonderful.
for those who want to call, I may leave a number,
Right.
+233 if you're calling international,
Right.
302-671459.
Right.
That's the line for VCTF. If you need any additional information that you're not finding on our website, you can always call and we'll be happy to assist.
That's exciting.
Our fund managers are also there. We created a link on our website to all our fund managers. So if you go there and one particularly suits your interest, you may be in education, you may be in pig farming, or you may be in agro-processing, whatever. Each of these fund managers have specific areas they look at. So depending on what your requirements are, when you go there, you will be able to research and click on the relevant ones that you can go to approach them and find out whether they will be able to assist.
That's interesting. So you have fund managers for various sectors. So as an SME, depending on my area of interest or wherever I've been working, like I just spoke to those in the fashion industry, you have fund managers for different sectors. So if I go online, I research and read around all that you do, I find who works best for me, and then I go in there to work with them.
That's right.
And you're saying not only do I get funding, I get technical support as well.
Yeah.
How competitive is it to get into this?
Go ahead.
Well, it's not competitive at all.
Do I need to put up a structure, be running for some time, need some years of experience, have some number of employees before I can apply for this?
You know, let me say this to our wonderful listeners, especially for the SMEs who are listening. You know, a lot of times people say they want money.
Yeah.
Competitive, yes, because the money is limited.
Right.
Of course, we don't have a limitless pool.
Correct.
So it would always be competition, and the competition is for the best and the most potential, the biggest potential, or the
most viable,
the most viable.
Yeah.
To go through. But I always say that anybody looking to raise money from a venture capital or private equity fund must first be honest with themselves.
Right.
No, if you are not honest and you go, the fund manager can smell it from afar and you will not get the money.
You are
So
trained for the dishonest
yes.
people. You know them.
And you must get your stuff in order. Because it's not just about just approaching and say, hey, I have an idea. What have you done with that idea? What have you put together? What have you?
The rubber must hit the road.
Yes, you must put
have
something
to
together.
show.
You must have something to show.
Right.
Even if it's a startup, you have the right people behind you, the right team, the right background. You know, it is competitive. You can get it, but you must be prepared for it.
Fantastic.
Like everything else in life.
Yeah.
So the number one thing, if for purpose of time, the number one thing is be honest, be prepared, be open, and show what you have, and the fund managers would listen
Be
to you.
honest, be prepared, be open. That sounds like the name of a joint venture. So OPV, honest, open, OH rather. Okay, so let's talk about some of the challenges that you've had to deal with in the last 2 decades, right? CEO, tell me, I know it's not been all rosy. So what are some of the challenges you've encountered? How have you overcome them?
Well, so first of all, just as any, living organism, the ecosystem evolves. And to the extent that the ecosystem evolves, what it means is that you must always ensure that in terms of regulation, in terms of policies that support the ecosystem, you're always on top, up to speed with even modern trends as time evolves. One of the things we're hoping to do, and as part of our ecosystem work, which of course is to address a challenge, is to come up with the Limited Partnership Act to regulate investment, particularly international investors who invest in here. And we've commenced with the support of the World Bank through the Ghana Economic Transformation Project. We are working on that assiduously. Another challenge which we are hoping to also address with one of our interventions is the number of fund managers we have in the country, or those working with us largely. We hope to build their capacities. We hope to deepen the quality of work they do. So we've come up with what we call the Fund Managers Development Program, which we are running to address that challenge as well. Again, thinking about the future of the ecosystem and on sustainability matters, we have another intervention seeking to address the issues of sustainability, which is what we call the Venture Capital Analyst Program, to always train the next cohort of venture capital analysts for the ecosystem. And so far we've passed our 2 cohorts. Already we've started interviews, almost done with the interviews for this year's cohort of analysts that we seek to train for the future. Yes, we seek for deepened collaboration with policymakers. We seek for deepened collaboration with government. And I must say that we are very much happy and commend His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama for his bold promise he made at the Kuhu Business Forum to establish the National Venture Fund. And to us, this goes to tell his commitment it's a testament to his vision to ensuring that the venture capital private equity ecosystem thrives. And already we've had some discussions with the chief of staff as to how to materialize this. Yeah, so a few challenges here and there, but
Right.
it's our hope and with the dream of making Ghana a premier destination for venture capital private equity for the continent. I believe that in a matter of years, we should get to this vision.
So Michael Abe is the Chief Executive Officer of Venture Capital Trust Fund. He's here with Percival Ofori Ampoma. He's the General Manager. General Manager, we've talked about sustainability. We've talked about a wide range of issues concerning this. I'll be remiss not to ask about inclusion as well.
Right.
So in all that you do, how important is inclusion? You know, there's women participation, persons with disability and minority groups are always a big part of conversations now. I want to have them all included. So how inclusive is all that you do?
Thank you. And thank you for the question. So, just as a testament to our commitment to make sure that we get that inclusion done, last year we launched the first Women Fund in Ghana. So our first women-supported, women-sponsored fund was launched last year called Zinari Capital. We gave them 35 million Ghana cedis to start investing in women-owned businesses, women-controlled businesses.
Nice.
And they are focusing purely on women. And already they have invested in 4 companies and they are still investing.
Nice.
Our hope is that we will be able to raise additional money to increase the amount of money available. So that is to tell you how deliberate we are focusing on inclusivity in respect of venture capital investing in the ecosystem as well. We are very mindful of the gender lens issue, and it forms an integral part of our evaluation of any fund manager looking to raise money with
And
us.
disability?
Yes, disability is part of it.
Okay.
In fact, one of our portfolio companies, several years ago, we've exited from that company. But one of our portfolio companies, the founder was disabled.
Nice.
Yeah, and we've exited with a good multiple, of course, but we've always been open to some of these concerns. You know, as a government institution, we must be as inclusive as possible, and that forms an integral part
Very
of
important.
our evaluation
Very
criteria
important.
when we do that.
Gentlemen, it's been eye-opening talking to you and listening to your journey in the last 20 years and listening to your projections for the next 20. We can wish you the very best and hope that in the next 20 or sooner when we meet, we'll talk about the Ejumapa 24-hour SME fund and all the big things you have come to tell us. We see how it's transformed lives. And so thank you so much. Keep impacting. Time is up, but if you have any final word, General Manager or CEO, I'll give you a few seconds that we can wrap up.
Thank you very much, Caleb. So we sell money.
Right.
And before you sell money, you need investors to invest in you so you're able to sell money to support businesses. On the African continent, you have about, in terms of the capital that come in, about 70% being from outside, foreign capital actually. The campaign now has been for us to be able to mobilize domestically to support our own businesses.
Super.
And so we are, of course, as my general manager mentioned, that we are engaging the pension funds for them to open up to, and this is a viable venture, and it's an appeal that it is time. We have to support our own, we have to build our own businesses so we can tell the stories together.
Fantastic.
And if not now, when?
That's a good point.
Appeal for us to mobilize locally to support businesses in Ghana.
Mobilize locally to support businesses in Ghana. That is the Chief Executive of the Venture Capital Trust Fund. Thank you so much for passing through. He came together with Percival Ofori and Poma, General Manager. Gentlemen, thank you so much for passing through.